So how do you know when it's time to go gray? In today's video, I'm going to share with you the 3 questions that you need to answer if you're considering whether going gray is right for you or not. If it is right, I'm going to share with you my 3 mindset hacks that will make your gray journey amazing. Let's get this party started. Question number 1, is it bothering you? When I was thinking about going gray, I was at the point where every 3 weeks I was back at my stylist getting my roots touched up. In fact, sometimes I would come home from the salon after just getting my hair done, and all around the hairline would already be a silver sparkle, which is great if you're going gray, but it's horrible if you just spent $180 on a color. So I was going crazy with all the gray hairs. The brown powder was my favorite friend. I even went blonde for a little while to try and minimize the gray, the silvers that were sparkling through. So this is my question for you. Are you thinking about it a lot? Is it bothering you? Are you struggling with the constant grays, the constant silvers that are popping up in your hair? Does it feel like you're losing the fight? Question 2, are you considering going gray? Have you been thinking about it? Is this something that's coming up very often in your mind? I wanted to go gray about a year to 18 months before I actually made the decision to go gray. I know I floated it out with my family. They all went berserk. They are like, no, don't go gray. I floated it with my hairstylist. She's like, no, don't go gray. And I just kept thinking, what would it be like if I went gray? I wonder what it would look like. I wonder if I would have pretty gray hair. Now, my grandmother was completely white. Her name's Nana. Nana was completely white when she was 60. So I knew that I was like getting on that silver train because I'm so much like Nana. But I just kept thinking about it and thinking about it. I'm trying to figure out, is this something I want to do or not? If you've been thinking about it, that's a really big sign. That was the second question. Have you been thinking about it? Are you considering it? Have you been floating the idea? Because if you have, then that tells me it's at your top of mind and you're probably getting pretty close to making the decision. Okay, so now your third question is fear of what people think the only thing or the biggest thing that's holding you back from going gray? I know this was a huge part of my decision because of my family. I have young children and they just did not like the idea of me going gray, of not coloring my hair anymore. My junior high son just about went berserk. He was really anxious. And then beyond your family, are you concerned about what your boss might say or what your friends might say? And believe me, if you decide to do this journey, you're going to hear a lot of unsolicited advice, I promise. People seem to think that it's their need to give you their opinion on your hair, even though it's personal. So that's a question you have to really consider is, how do I feel about people giving me unsolicited advice about my hair? How do I feel about other people's opinion of me and of my hair? So 3 questions. Number 1, is it bugging you? Are your silvers bugging you that are popping out all the time? 2, have you considered going gray and it keeps rolling around in the back of your mind like something that you should look into? And 3, are you worried about what other people will say? Now, if those 3 questions you've answered in such a way that you're like, you know what, I think it might be time, I'm gonna give you 3 mindset hacks that you can use that will make your gray transition so much easier. It'll make it wonderful. Are you ready? Okay, the first mindset hack is research. I want you to research all you can on this topic of silver, #SilverSisters. I want you to look at websites. I want you to look at Instagram accounts. I want you to look at Pinterest boards. I want you to do the research that's going to show you there is a whole world of Silver Sisters out there. You're not alone on this journey. When I started researching, there were 3 books that I got that were super, super helpful. The first one is called Going Gray: How to Embrace Your Authentic Self with Grace and Style. Now this book is by Anne Kramer. I love her. She's a writer. She lives in New York City. She's very more high style. She talks about all the different things that happened when she started going gray. It's kind of a memoir. The reason I like it is because she really covers the society's reaction to it and kind of how we got into this place in the first place where everybody is expected to keep their hair colored until they die. All right, second book. Going Gray Beauty Guide. And the reason that I really like this one is because it's all these stories of all these different women and how they went gray and their story of going gray and why they decided to go gray. And there's something about reading stories of other women who've been where you are that is so helpful. So finally, the last one I want to recommend is Beauty Reinvented by the fabulous Nicole Johnson. And you may have found her YouTube channel. I will link to it. It is definitely worth watching if you are thinking about going silver. She's a model, so of course she's beautiful. And what I love most about her is she is all about a positive mindset and really reinventing the classic idea of beauty. Like, why should we be stuck with society's norms when we can be beautiful just by being ourselves? So these are 3 books that I hope you access. And like I said, I will link to them in the show notes. So the first thing I want you to do is research, research, research. Okay, the second thing I want you to do is I want you to grab a journal and I want you to write down all the things that you could do with the money that you currently spend on your hair. Like, this was a lot of money that I was spending every 3 to 4 weeks. It just was crazy. And so if you are struggling with this decision, just write down what you could do with an extra $100, $200 a month. So I want you to kind of visualize what would you do with it, and then how would that feel? What would that feel like to be able to take that money and spend it on something else besides your hair? All right, the third mindset hack I want you to do is I want you to make an appointment with your stylist to talk about what are the options for your gray transition. Because having a plan will give you so much clarity, it will give you so much courage. Basically, I had done so much research that I kind of knew what I wanted, and I went through a couple phases. I had shoulder length hair, and I had her take it up so that the silvers weren't quite so obvious. I did not want the skunk. I did not want the silver line. A lot of women love it and are embracing it. But for me, I didn't really want to do that. And so I went with a longer shortcut, and then I went with a really shortcut. As you can see, it wasn't the most attractive, but thank goodness for hats. I wore a lot of hats. But I had a plan, and I worked with my stylist on the plan, and we knew we were gonna take it short and then grow it out. And so now I'm sort of at, you can see, I had her trim it up again. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do, but what I love is that all the color is off, and all of this is just my natural color. I'm gonna sign off for now. Leave any questions or comments below. If you like this video and you want more like this, be sure to subscribe, give me the thumbs up, let me know what you think as we get this channel going, because it's gonna be so fun as together we make our midlife our happiest life.